Wait, I'm sorry, what? I didn't know they did that. Generic intro into that goes me. We're back with another Bricky Warhammer video. Today we're doing what is Warhammer 40,000 timeline of 40k lore. God, it sounds cursed to call Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer 40k just rolls off the tongue so much better. This is the third Bricky video I have done. It's actually the shortest one I've done, and it is the most recent video that he has uploaded. Thank you to the people that pointed out that he uploaded this video and recommended that I react to it. I am so glad to be watching more Warhammer 40k stuff, especially Bricky videos. The way he explains stuff is just super, like, digestible for me. I'm really interested in Warhammer 40k. It sounds really awesome. I don't know if you noticed or not. I have a new green screen behind me in case you were unaware of that. After almost 2,700 videos of a blank green screen, I now have, you know, a whole new green screen and stuff behind me decorated with random things. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope I can make the title better. You can check my reaction to the every single Warhammer 40k faction part 2. I'll leave it right up there. Also a link down below in the description. I definitely want to do more Warhammer 40k stuff. Thank you so much for the support you show in these videos. I do read all your comments, so leave some down below. Also shout out to the patrons because they get videos day early and allow me to have a paywall on channel. I'm completely against paywalls because I'm here to make you smile, not make you pay, and I hope I can make your day a tiny little better. But I do read your comments whether you're subscribed or not, or like or dislike the video, or you're a patron or not. If you're watching the video, you leave a comment, I'm going to read it. Let's go ahead and jump into what is Warhammer 40,000. God, it's so cursed. It's so
the grim darkness of the 41st
includes paid promotion.
Exists the
Get that bag.
Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire
Why do we
comprised
still have
of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly
I think some stuff has changed
armored
since the last
women,
video I did.
most likely with sweltering abs, and one must know what those abs taste like.
What? I'm sorry, wait. Sweet six-pack? What? Is this the brand deal? This has to be the brand deal.
My Gamer Supps flavor
He got his own
is
flavor?
here. Sweet six-pack has arrived.
They're not worth it.
Delicious
They're not
and
worth it.
refreshing cherry
Six-pack is not. Nobody
pineapple
cares.
blend.
Like, people do not
Play
care
the
about
sound.
six-packs. They just don't. That's crazy. He got his own flavor. Does Moist Critical have his flavor?
Yes, my
I don't think he does yet.
official Gamer Subs flavor
That's
is
awesome.
here. Sweet six-pack, not only in regular energy mode, but also in caffeine-free. The cherry pineapple flavor is not the
Cherry
kind of
pineapple?
flavor that smacks you
I
in
don't
the
like
face.
pineapple.
It is light, it is refreshing, and it's one of those things where you sip it and you go, not bad.
Not
And next
bad.
thing you know, you are having your 4th refill the same day. And it is available now. Link in the
Bricky
description.
10%
Use
off? That's
code
awesome. He
Bricky
put it right in the
for
beginning of the video.
10% off your entire order. Not just for this, but for everything you buy. And
Does he have a
I'm not
limited
done.
time
If you
shaker
buy
cup?
any of these tubs, regular, caffeine-free of my sweet six-pack flavor, you will get a Muscle Girl 32-ounce
What is
shaker
his obsession?
completely for free. There are only a couple thousand of those shakers,
Only a couple
so get
thousand.
it while supplies lasts. I cannot
They might be
believe we
gone.
finally have this, but I told everyone, like, once you find out the flavor, you'll be like, yeah, that tracks, and damn
Why?
straight does it track. Sweet six-pack available now. Code
Dude,
Bricky,
Gamer
link
Subs
in
is
the
out here
description.
just doing just random things. This is out here just doing stuff. If you watch Depressed Cowboys fan on TikTok or Trap House Sports or whatever, God, he's so funny.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment.
I skipped
has
out on that part.
ended.
Oh, well.
The age of darkness has begun.
Warhammer 40k. God, I've missed these videos so much. It's only been like a
Roughly
couple weeks,
60
but
million years ago,
kind
there
of bought a
existed
house in that time.
aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Thear, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of the galaxy.
Pretty much like
they asked
the
these old ones for help.
the-
Please
what are they
cure
called? The
us of our
Forerunners from
ailments."
Halo?
To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Thear gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium.
Immaterium, that's actually a sick name.
We just call it the Warp. While you and I,
which is how they use basically kind of warp drive kind of
horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy. But the kind of energy formed from thought.
Also, if the
and
Emperor had
soul,
text-to-speech
energy,
would
where the
is
dead
actually something I need
souls
to do.
of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily.
Time?
The
Question mark?
Would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat,
also death,
could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not
the ocean's
evil.
terrifying.
It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos.
Yes, and the Chaos Gods, which I learned about in the last video. Oh my god, it was so
area
cool.
led by 3 Chaos Gods.
3?
Khorne,
well,
the god
then
of
what's her
combat,
face?
murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit. A confusing paradox
and then
of
you
lies,
have the one of
schemes,
decomposition.
and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things
that was an
rot
unnecessary stab.
And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms.
I'm so
These gods
okay with
ruled
not
their
that.
respective realm in the Warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the Warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Yes, he does.
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron Thear and how the old ones cast them
and they're like,
aside
here, have the power of the gods.
You know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls.
That didn't go how they expected.
Turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron Thear, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls.
They were like kind of recently added. They're not one of the like old
amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other,
well, not
fighting
old ones,
one
but like
another
one of the
for
old
more
factions.
chances at glory and power. With this,
like
the
been in the
leader
game forever,
of the Necrons,
for years.
Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment
to betray
and turned his legions of undead citizens
I already knew
against
some of
the
this.
star gods. Gods cannot be killed,
because his videos
but
are
they
so easy to
can
understand.
Be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as
they are mortal
Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Oh yeah, well, I guess use the energy from them.
It's the Void Dragon!
Zarek,
close enough,
with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire
they're all immortal.
The genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decide to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And So turns out when you
they basically just hibernated forever.
Lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Khorne is over there splashing about.
Skulls for the Skull Throne, blood for the Blood God.
Nurgle has explosive diarrhea. So
not in the kiddie pool.
In that direction either.
No, you get out.
You can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine.
No,
Turns
it's not.
out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, just the tiniest bit more powerful.
Just a little
now,
bit.
Entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is
well, I guess Slaanesh comes way
hell
later.
Is resembling hell.
Way later.
A lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Who? What species? The Age of the... Oh, the Eldars. Okay.
The Eldar are space elves.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves.
Were they the reason why Slaanesh?
Slender,
Yeah.
pointy
I think
ears,
Slaanesh is...
a bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway.
Yeah.
And also the Orcs, but
Orcs,
busy right now.
I would absolutely play as Orcs. I would absolutely play as Orcs in the tabletop. What is a song?
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful.
Orcs are everywhere.
So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands,
it's actually really good that I watched the factions beforehand.
You can do that, but you siphon
They're taking the information I already kind of know in kind of the timeline that I was told there.
The Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects. Because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and then move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver the packages.
Really
For
fast.
those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether is like a pocket dimension. So moving 10 spaces in the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's
not
basically
true.
What warp travel
I thought it was
is.
4 to 1.
Much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else.
Yeah, they have their own
purgatory
thing.
of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century.
Really?
That's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok.
Oh God, those exist.
The space elves
ruling
were
the
the
galaxy,
galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Rise of humanity.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced. Your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system,
manifest that destiny,
our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships.
I'm guessing
the
they turned
Age
Mars
of Terra,
into,
also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here. And existed between the 21st century all the way to the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time. Not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000.
What happened is 10,000 years
of technology.
10,000 years of technology?
Dark age of technology.
Oh.
This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian.
Haven't seen it.
The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic.
It took
this is
that
also
many
when
years?
the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity.
How'd
Individuals
that even
with
happen?
the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy.
Yeah,
They
manifest that
equipped
destiny.
with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly the golden age of humanity, and with every golden age there is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
debauchery.
Yes, they were, and they create Slaanesh.
What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing.
How?
Your need for farmers and workers.
Didn't he recently pass away?
You have dominated the stars
I think that guy did.
and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles.
It's
no
just
problems,
fun. They're
and
retired.
feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember, their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes
everything's
more
an acid trip,
more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing.
I'm a virgin.
Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts.
Do they really need a black market if it's just normal?
Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights.
Oh, they're like, are you leaving? Oh, no, there's no rules.
They inflicted on
Mods
those
are
around
asleep.
them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that,
Your Honor, my client
Eldar
claims oopsie daisy.
Slaanesh,
And there's
Chaos God,
Slaanesh.
was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence.
And that's why they do terrible things to
the
people that they
Eldar,
capture.
Their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new fourth Chaos God, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable
At least he's not censoring her
excess
belly
of
button this time.
pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel
How does that even
between
happen?
star
How do you just
systems
become?
impossible. Coupled with a huge
Oh, that's
classic AI
kinda
rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out.
Why?
If you were a planet
Is that because
was
of Slaanesh
great
being
at
born?
mining stuff but couldn't get food, well, You know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains?
No, I don't.
Because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect
basic math
them.
glitch.
Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time.
I didn't know they did that.
And set back their progress.
I wonder why they hunted them.
Over the not
just
one,
taking time
not
bomb.
two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien
well, that doesn't look like it's very good for getting corn.
This became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights and gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, where Terra barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore. Until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did
he have a text-to-speech device?
I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind?
Where has he been hiding?
Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself.
Like 20 kids.
Of them.
18 technically, because you play as 2 of them. Which is such a cool little touch that they do.
The strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade. A crusade across the
they're
stars
within crusading
to reunite
distance.
not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus.
What does this mean?
One of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their Space Marine
some of them went evil
Lehman
and they had a big
Russ,
fight.
The Cunning Hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the
it's so cool.
with
Purple
his
and gold.
Children. And Jagatai Khan, the Swift, the Stoic and his white scars. Those were just
cool
some
name.
of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity.
So they literally were like, hey, join, we already have an
reconquer
army
the
for you.
stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade.
Bro has a
But in
book
the
on his
years
arm, which is
of
crazy.
the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Horus heresy?
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues. All because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly,
Who's Erebus?
Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it. Horus heresy.
It has how many
9
books?
of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. Literally and figuratively.
Why?
So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point.
I've never seen that image before, actually.
And proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul.
Wait, he killed his soul?
Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits.
Forever. He still does.
Dying from his wounds and the
10,000 souls, which is a lot more now.
Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day.
Oh, is that 1,000? I thought it was 10,000.
Was 10,000 years ago. We are now
there's
in
way
the
more.
41st millennium.
There's more.
Modern day. Warhammer 40,000.
Yep, Warhammer 40,000, and we're completely caught up.
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million
if he had a text-to-speech device, it would be fine.
The ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion.
How do they know they have the sacrifice souls? Like, how do you just know that that's a thing that needs to happen?
Legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium,
that's a big bullet
while
hole.
the Loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds. The theme of Warhammer 40,000
is everything sucks.
Is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance. The simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head.
Oh, really? You think differently?
All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor.
It's kind of like Twitter these days.
A million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met.
Nobody wants to be in the Warhammer 40k world.
Devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway.
Yeah.
Warhammer is a world.
It does not discriminate.
Revel
it sucks for
in
everybody.
Being bad. There are protagonists. There are antagonists. But every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always
There's one group
more
that's apparently
fun.
not
And
super
my
evil.
friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun soldier. You and
not the
other
las
3
gun.
million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy.
Really?
Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die. For in the grim darkness of the far future,
I'm leaving.
There is only
I'm checking out.
War.
Yeah, there's no end to Warhammer 40k. Do you think they're ever gonna do like Warhammer 50k or something? Because like, you know, the timing's gonna like, as time goes on, hopefully this isn't copyrighted. That'd be really bad if it was. But, oh my god, if it's really quiet then it was copyrighted. But Bricky videos, they didn't have any issues before, so, don't know. Well, there's still a whole, like, minute and a half here.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped
another Warhammer 40k video.
Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job.
And also
of
your
showing
faction
off
video
how
helped
the entire universe
ton.
operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer.
I don't know Band of Brothers.
Honestly, one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible.
I haven't seen a single one of
those.
those.
Bloodlines is Blade Runner.
Haven't seen that one either.
And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend: Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghost, and Infinite and the Divine.
The covers are kind of sick.
They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you
acquainted
with
read
the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs
That's
flavor.
still something.
Enjoy the new
That is
six-pack.
still something.
And if you're curious and you want, you know, just a little lord,
I don't get
you
what
can find
what
him
that's a
in the
reference
description
to.
as well on my merchandise store, orchid8.com.
Work at 8.
And may the God Emperor be
Well,
with
it's supposed to
us.
be like work at 8.
Obviously, you're a skater.
Oh, that's, I guess, Skater is the person that added the video. That's what it just said. But this was a new Warhammer 40k video by Bricky, going through the entire timeline, which taught me some things I didn't already know from the factions. This is the last video I did. Absolutely insanity. It was actually 2 very, very long videos, but you all showed so much support for them. I absolutely loved them. I learned a lot, even though those videos were like weeks ago, and so much of my life has changed since those videos, but I still remember quite a lot from it, considering how many videos I record on a weekly basis and upload. And I do read all your comments, leave some down below. But what is Warhammer 40,000? It is a dark mess of just the worst things. You don't want to live in a Warhammer 40k world, but the game sounds so interesting. I would love to play it. I would 1,000,000% play an Orc. I would absolutely play Orc, just because, you know, RNG, you know, just completely screw it. You live and die by the odds, and just like, it can go really well or go really bad, and no matter what, it's going to be absolutely hilarious. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it made your day time a little better. Hope you're subscribed to some of these future Warhammer 40k related videos on my channel. But most importantly, I hope you had a wonderful day. But until next video, take care and kitty music.